Hey everyone, welcome back to The Road to Superman. This is episode 90, and today we are talking about the Superman trailer and the rumored sequel that may contain Batman. But does that sound like a copy of the DCEU's Batman v Superman movie? Let me know in the comments below. Now, there has been a lot of theories as to when we will get our first proper trailer for the Superman movie, and it seems like we are closer than ever. Even though the film is coming up to 2 months away, we still haven't got a first trailer for the movie. We've had the teaser trailer in December last year, the 3 minutes of footage in April this year, and the behind the scenes video 2 weeks ago. But other than that, we have had nothing for Superman. So I think it's fair to say us Superman fans are desperate to get a new look at the movie, and it sounds like it could be as early as next week. Last week, Gunn was talking to a fan online who was asking for the second trailer, and Gunn said, "You haven't even seen trailer 1.0 yet, only a teaser and a sneak peek. I can't wait to show you guys the trailer." And my answer to that is, if you can't wait to show us the trailer, then don't wait. Please just release it now because we are all so excited to see it. But clearly, they have to stick to their promotional plan. And then yesterday, Gunn responded to 2 comments asking where the trailer is, and he put the same emoji for both comments. And this is just him teasing us fans. He knows we are desperate to see this trailer, and he is building up the hype for fans. But so when will this trailer come out? I think the fact he is now answering more comments from fans about the trailer release date implies it is pretty soon. He wouldn't want to build hype too early for it and then have it die off with it releasing not very soon after that, so I think that in itself indicates we are very close to the trailer's release. And we have heard from most scoopers that the trailer will release in May, but none of them know exactly when, so we do have a maximum of 25 days remaining. According to Resonant Justice, the trailer will release between May 12th and May 16th. So next week. Now, I don't know the reliability of Resonant Justice, and I think it may be a bit of guessing from him, but next week would kind of make sense. On May 16th, Warner Brothers' new film Final Destination releases, so maybe they are looking to put the Superman trailer in front of that movie. Or maybe they are planning to release it online the week before Lilo and Stitch and Mission Impossible come out in the cinema. Those are going to be 2 huge movies in May, both targeting different demographics that would be both interested in the Superman movie. So I would go as far to say that the trailer will definitely release before May 23rd. I think they've been really brave with this movie's promotion, with hardly showing anything, even ignoring Super Bowl. But I don't think they can ignore the release of 2 big movies in May that would have audiences that would both be interested in the movie. Now, I don't think a trailer will release this week, so we have an 11-day window from May 12th to May 23rd. Of those days, I think they will be more tempted to release it as close to the end of May as possible. They seem to be in no rush to show us a new trailer, so I reckon they will be happy to delay it as much as possible. So I personally believe from the 19th to the 23rd of May is when we will get a new trailer. They have been so tactical throughout promotion, and I think they are being tactical here. And I'm also saying the 19th to the 23rd out of hope, because from the 15th to the 18th of May, I'm going to be in Portugal on vacation, so I am praying the trailer doesn't come out whilst I'm away. So maybe my prediction of the 19th to the 23rd is a little bit biased. Now, do let me know your thoughts on my prediction in the comments below and when you think the trailer is coming out. Now, we do also have some news regarding a Superman sequel, which is quite exciting to hear when the first film hasn't even got its first proper trailer. Now, Jeff Snyder has said Warner Brothers will announce a sequel to Superman if the film succeeds at the box office. The sequel will either be an adaptation of World's Finest or an original story written by James Gunn that doesn't feature Batman. And unfortunately, this is hardly breaking news. All this says is a studio will make a sequel if the movie makes a lot of money, which is exactly what any business would do with a successful product. He also basically says the Superman sequel will either have Batman in the film or it won't. So this is the most nothing scoop I have ever heard, and it doesn't help Snyder's case for being a reliable scooper. Sure, he may have heard this from insiders at Warner Brothers, and there may be plans for 2 different Superman stories, one with Batman and one without, but this is just common sense with no evidence to prove that he has heard this from an inside source. He's saying a whole load of nothing and keeping the door open, so he's not wrong, but he's also just not right. This is not groundbreaking information, so it's a shame he has reported this information with nothing that can set himself apart from anyone with no inside information but just has common sense. But for the sake of conversation, let's talk about this for a moment as if it was true. What would you want the Superman sequel to be about? Personally, whilst I think a world's finest film with Batman would be cool, I think I'd prefer another solo film because the DCEU did a Superman movie and then a Batman and Superman movie, and I want this to feel different to that, and I also wanted to just focus more on Superman. If they were to do a world's finest film, it would feel like they've picked up the DCEU slate and just rebranded it. It would also be massively compared to Batman v Superman and the DCEU. Obviously that will happen anyway with any film that is similar to the DCEU's movies, but when Man of Steel sequel was a Superman and Batman movie, having the sequel to Gunn's Superman film also being a Superman and Batman movie, it would feel like Gunn is just trying to show what the DCEU should have done and how his DCU is a better version of that instead of just focusing on themselves. And I am all for a world's finest film, but having it for the sequel to Superman would be a mistake in my opinion. Many criticisms of the DCEU was that Superman and Batman met too soon, and I agree, especially for Superman. I think one solo film before meeting Batman was too early for a connected universe. I would have preferred another Superman film set in the 18 months between Man of Steel and Batman v Superman to see more of Superman's story. I think we need 2 Superman movies and at least one Batman film before we get a world's finest film. And maybe that film could lead into a Justice League movie, which would be quite a bit like how Batman v Superman led into Justice League, but I think with how there would be so many other projects before and surrounding those films in the DCU, it would make it feel very different to how the DCEU did it. I also think it would feel more earned. Whilst I love Batman v Superman, and I think the movie worked for Snyder's 5-story arc he had planned, for a connected universe, I don't think it worked as well as it could have. It felt rushed, and I needed more time with Superman and Batman before they met. And I don't want the DCU to make the same mistake. They have time on their side, and they can learn from the DCEU's mistakes. No matter how much you may love the individual films in the DCEU, I think most would agree it was rushed and could have greatly benefited from taking their time more to flesh out these characters before having them all interact. I know the DCU is set in a time where heroes have been around for years and years, but we also need to feel like each character has a satisfying and fulfilling story. If they bring them together too soon, purely because they have been around for years, then it could feel really rushed. So for me, I want the Superman sequel to be a solo film, and maybe it sets up Superman and Batman teaming up in the 3rd film. I just haven't had enough of just Superman for a long time now. He's my favorite DC character, and I want to spend more time with just him and his group in Metropolis before he ventures out into the larger DC universe. Maybe you guys feel differently, or maybe you agree. However you feel, let me know in the comments below. Now, we do have a new photo of Mr. Terrific and James Gunn on the set, and we can see Superman in the background as well. Now, this is in the same location as this shot of Mr. Terrific in the trailer, as well as this image of Superman and Lex Luthor behind the scenes. So they are all there together, and we can see the circle behind them that looks a lot like the location where the being in the metal armor from the behind the scenes footage is. Apparently, this being is called the Hammer of Boravia. Now, he was spotted in the newspaper during the trailer, and he causes havoc in Metropolis, and I wonder if this is also the Man in Black. I honestly have no idea, which is why I am really hoping the new trailer sheds some light on it. But it looks like Superman, Mr. Terrific, and Lex Luthor are all there together in the same location. So let me know what you think they could be doing together in the comments below. Now, the final thing to mention is something I forgot to mention in the previous episode, and that is that a federal judge has dismissed the Superman co-creators' estate in their bid to reclaim foreign copyrights and blocking the new film, citing lack of jurisdiction. Superman will release in Canada, the UK, Ireland, and Australia without any issue. And this is really great news because it means I won't have to fly to another country to watch this movie in the cinema. But that is all for today's episode of The Road to Superman. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you never miss an episode. I hope to see you here again soon, so until then, have a great day. Bye!